Okay, remember that the rate of change is called the rate of change, or it's also called slope, and it is the change in y over change in x. When you see that triangle, change means subtract. So the change in y over change in x, or rise over run. So we're going to find the rate of change, and on these, if you cannot see the points, then do the best you can to look very, very closely. I'm going to make these a little bit bigger so you can see them on here maybe. All right, now I'm going to find 2 points, and I have to find where it intersects. So where it intersects, right at where the lines cross. So that's a good one. So I have 1, 2, that's a good ordered pair. Another good ordered pair is 4, 4. So 4, 4. Those lines are a little bit faint. So 4, 4. Now remember, you can do the change in y over change in x. It is increasing, so my slope should be positive because it is increasing. If my bike is going uphill, it's increasing, so it's plus. Remember, I'm going up, so I'm going up 2 units, so it should be 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I can't see my lines very well. 1, 2, 3. So 2 over 3. That should be it. Now, if you're not sure, subtract. That's what some students just prefer, setting at the t-chart, finding the 2 points, and subtracting. 4 minus 1 is 3. 4 minus 2 is 2. Swing the 3 underneath 2/3, and that's what I got. So my rate is 2 over 3. On the second one, set up your t-chart. Let's find our 2 points. Now I want where it touches exactly where the lines intersect. So 0, negative 3 is a good point, and another good point is 2, 1. Okay, so 2, 1. So if I look at it, it is increasing, so it's positive. I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going up 4, and I'm going over 2. Now, if I put that in the calculator, that reduces to 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So let's see if that is correct. So I'm going to subtract on both sides. 2 minus 0 is, 2 minus 0 is 2. And then 1 minus a negative 3. Now put that in your calculator. 1 minus and then negative 3. Notice that comes out to be a 4. So that is a 4. Swing it over, and that's what we have, 4 over 2. And when you divide 4 divided by 2, you get 2. So that is correct. It is a positive 2. Now, the last one that you have right there, let's look at that one. So the ordered pair, where it crosses on exactly where the grid intersect. Negative 3, 2. Negative 3, positive 2. And another one is at 1, negative 1. 1, negative 1. Okay, so now, remember it is, if I put my bike on this, it is decreasing. So it should be a negative. And I'm going down 1, 2, 3. So it looks like I'm going down 3. And I'm going over 1, 2, 3, 4. So down 3 over 4. Now I'm going to double check it. So I'm going to subtract 1 minus negative 3. Now I think we did that a while ago. 1 minus negative 3 is 4. So this is a 4. And then I have negative 1 minus 2. So negative 1 minus 2. That's a negative 3. And you want to swing it over. And when I put that in my calculator, negative 3 divided by 4 gives me negative 3 over 4. So that is my rate of change. I'm going downhill at a rate of, I'm going down 3 for every 4. Okay. On the next one, we want to do the same thing, but notice my lines look a little bit different. I'm still going to do the same thing, though. I want to find my rate of change. So I'm going to set up my t-chart right here. I'm going to pick 2 points on this line. It doesn't matter. So if I use that point, that's 0, 6, and that's 2, 6. And if I subtract, 2 minus 0 is 2, 6 minus 6 is 0. Swing that over. Now I have to enter from the top down. So you've got 0 divided by 2, which is 0. So this rate of change is 0. Notice over here, see this flat line like West Texas. See this flat line right here? It has a rate of change on my little slope guy. He has little cheeks. Those are kind of like his little cheeks, his little dimples. When he has a flat line by his mouth, it's a flat line, the slope is 0. So that's a reminder. So when it's straight like that, you're going to have a slope of 0. Now, this is not a horizontal line. This is called a vertical line. So let's find the rate of change for the vertical line. Again, I'm going to find some points on that line. I can use 6, 0, and 6, 1. Doesn't matter which ones you use. I could use any two that I wanted to. And I'm going to subtract. 6 minus 6 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 1. I'm going to swing that over. Now, I have to enter from the top down. So I have to enter the 1 first. So this is 1 divided by 0. And notice it comes up undefined. So when it's a vertical line, it's undefined. And I'm going to show you the difference. So I highlighted that one in purple. Come over here, this vertical line right here. Notice what's underneath the vertical line. There's a U for his nose. So that is reminding us that a vertical line is undefined. Okay, undefined. So if you have a horizontal line, you're going to have a slope of 0. And if you have a vertical line, and the vertical, since the V is going up, that's how I remembered it was up and down. A vertical line is undefined. Okay? So Mr. Slope, if you notice, look at his eyes. If it's increasing, it's a positive slope. And if it's decreasing, it's a negative slope. And then a vertical line is undefined, and a horizontal line has a slope of 0. So look in your question right here at number 6. What is the key word here? What is the rate of change for a vertical line? If it's a vertical line, remember the V goes up and down. So if it's vertical, it is undefined. Undefined. And if it's a rate of change for a horizontal line, the horizontal, the H, in an H, I remember that part. Vertical goes up, horizontal goes straight across. Horizontal line going through -1, 4, any horizontal line is always going to be a 0. Okay? So vertical and horizontal, you just have to remember that. They both go through -1, 4. Okay? -1, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if it's a vertical line, it's up and down. And any vertical line is undefined. And then the horizontal line, still going through that same point. But if it's horizontal line, it has a slope of 0. Alright, so they're different. They're not the same thing. On part 3, we want to find the rate of change or the slope when you're given 2 points. So remember, just set up your T-chart. You got 0, -3, and you have 5, 7. Then you're going to subtract. You're going to subtract on both sides. Now remember, when you subtract, always start from the bottom and enter what it says. So 5 minus 0, we know that 5 minus 0 is 5. And on the other side, 7 minus -3. Now enter that in your calculator. 7 minus -3. Oops, now I didn't want to put 2 -3. Enter, and that's 10. So this is a 10. 7 minus -3 is 10. Swing it over. Put the 5 underneath, so always enter from the top. So you have 10, oops, I put 2 0, 10 divided by 5, enter, and it's 2. So my slope is 2. That is my rate of change. Okay, another word for rate of change is slope. So either one. On the second one, same thing. Make your T-chart, fill in your numbers, 11, -6, -3, 15. Those are your ordered pairs. You are always going to subtract them, and you're going to enter exactly what it says. So start from the bottom when you enter it. So -3 minus, make sure that gets in the -3 minus 11, enter, -14. -14, now start from the bottom over here, 15 minus -6. 15 minus -6, enter, you get 21. Now, after you subtract, you always swing the x underneath the y. Always, 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 always. And then you're going to enter it from the top down. So 21 divided by negative 14. And you get negative 3 over 2. That is simplified. So negative 3 over 2 is my slope or rate of change. Those mean the same thing. On number 10, the graph of the linear function y equals f of x passes through the points 3, 7 and negative 2, 1. What is the rate of change of y with respect to x? Anytime they want rate of change, anytime you want rate of change, you're going to set up t-chart. You've got 3, 7 and negative 2, negative 1. Make sure that you put the negatives, make sure that you can see them, and then you have to subtract. So just make sure it's very clear and distinct. So negative 2 minus 3. Negative 2 minus 3. That's negative 5. On the other side, negative 1 minus 7. So negative 1 minus 7. That's negative 8. Now swing it over. And when you swing it over, the x always goes underneath. Always, always, always. Put that in your calculator and enter from the top down. So negative 8 divided by negative 5. Enter. And you get positive 8 this. So the rate of change, or the slope, is positive 8 over 5. And that's your answer. On number 14, if you have a table, it is the exact same thing. Exact same thing. So a lot of times people get confused. What I would say is just ignore the other ones. Just take 2 at a time. And you're going to do exactly what we've done. You're going to subtract just like that. 1 minus 0 is 1. 8 minus 6 is 2. Swing it over. 2 over 1 is 2. That's your slope. Now, I'm going to show you something. Let's move this down. And now I'm going to look at those 2 points. Okay? Doesn't matter which 2 you use. If it's a linear function, they should all be the same. That's what makes it linear. So 0 minus negative 1. So in your calculator, 0 minus negative 1. It's positive 1. So this is a positive 1. 6 minus 4, you know, is 2. Swing it over. And you've got 2 over 1, which is 2. Well, now I'm going to bring this one down, and I'm going to look at the top 2. Okay, so I'm going to say negative 1 minus negative 2. So negative 1 minus negative 2, and you get positive 1. 4 minus 2 is 2. Swing it over. 2 over 1 equals 2. Notice every single one of them has the same slope. That's why it's linear. Linear means that all the slopes are the same. Okay, if you get a table and the slopes are different, it is not linear. But this one, the rate of change is positive 2. So it doesn't matter which 2 you use. I could use that point and those 2 points. I could do that. It doesn't matter. So I can find my rate of change however you want to. I just think it's easier to find the 2 next to each other. And if I can, I like to use the positive numbers. 4 minus 1 is 3. Negative 7 minus negative 4. So if you're not sure, type that in. Negative 7 minus negative 4. And you get negative 3. So this is a negative 3. And then you slide it over. So negative 3 divided by positive 3. Negative 3 divided by positive 3. And you get negative 1. And if I were to do that on the rest of those points, that's what I would get because I know these are linear. Okay, on the last one, so I have a table, but this time it's horizontal. So I'm going to take the time to rewrite it. This is my first order pair. Notice X is the first column. So I'm going to put negative 6 in the X column. 2 goes underneath the Y. Negative 2, 4. Negative 2 is my X. 4 is my Y. Okay, and I could keep going. 0, 5. And then you've got 1. And then 5.5. 5.5. And you have 2, 6. And then the last one is 4, 7. Now, just like we did a while ago, it doesn't matter which 2 points you use. I'm going to use the last 2 but you can use any of the two that you want to. 4 minus 2 is 2, 7 minus 6 is 1. Swing that over. Now you have to enter it from the top down. 1 divided by 2 is a half. If I hit Control Enter, it's 0.5. So my rate of change is a half, or I could say 0.5. And the reason I wanted to do that is so I wanted to show you that 1 minus 0 is 1, 5.5 minus 5 is 0.5. If I swing that over, 0.5 divided by 1 is 0.5. They're the same thing.